Hello and welcome to another episode of My Backstage Pass. This is your host, Lee Zimmerman, and I have with me my producer, co-host, and good buddy, Billy Hubbard. And today, we're very excited to have Amelia White join us. Hi, Amelia.
Hi, Lee. Hi, Billy.
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
Well, how are things? How are things? Oh, there's the, the applause. Yeah.
Things are great. I had a rough start to the year, but with my car got stolen and my cat died.
Oh, God. I'm so sorry.
Kind of like a bad country song, you know? And,
Yes. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. Have you been out on the road at all, or?
Yes. I was just going to say that's sort of when it turned around. I was touring down in Atlanta or Georgia, Florida, and Alabama with my friend Carter Sampson.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, getting this record out and selling it to people and everything's been flowing along really great. So
good.
Can't complain. Good.
How has the reaction been to the new album? Wonderful new album.
Thank you. It's this album is, you know, it really is doing something. The response has been amazing, and I can't be prouder and glad we waited, because, you know, my manager and
right, you were going to put that out several months earlier, as I recall.
Well, several years earlier.
Several years, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't want to put it out during the pandemic, so
I didn't want to make you look like a slacker, Amelia. There's reasons for the delay here. Reasons.
Yes. Well, you know, I put out that other album in the middle, so
yeah.
Yeah.
It was almost simultaneous, but it wasn't simultaneous. But
right.
There's never such a thing as too much Amelia White, though. I mean, seriously, your music is so lovely, and this new album, Love I Swear, is and produced by Kim Ritchie, who's wonderful. It's just it's a lovely, lovely album, Amelia. I mean, I think you're on you've been on a high plateau. I think you're on an even higher plateau with this album. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Kim really brought it up. You know, she really produced. Like, I really stepped back and let her. She just heard the songs in a certain way, and it was, you know, it took a little bit of like faith and letting go on my part. But I'm so glad I was able to do that, because she really had a vision and it came out great. You know.
So, I mean, you're no stranger as far as making albums are concerned. You've had a lovely path of recordings throughout your career. So,
thank you.
When you've achieved that and you start to think about a new project, I mean, what goes through your head? Do you think, oh, on my last album I did that, or I have this particular sound? I mean, does that shape your thinking as far as going forward whatsoever?
Yeah, I'm just, you know, the reason that this past one came about as it did is my manager, he just thought I should have a woman producer. He felt like that was really important. So we put together a list, and Kim is the first person who said yes, and I was thrilled. And so sometimes I'm really such a songwriter. I write songs like I have 2 new albums ready.
Oh my! Okay, bring them on.
But you know, I always try to let the songs dictate stuff. But I guess I'm learning that, you know, maybe there's, on a business side, maybe it's smart to think, you know, in a different kind of way. So I trust the people around me to help me with that. So
it's kind of part of a strategy. Is that how you would sum it up? Sort of coming forward with a strategy that maximizes everything there is to be maximized.
I think that is true, and I'm not a good strategist. Like when I play Scrabble with my wife, even though I'm more of a word person, she kicks my
Well,
ass
hey, come
because
on. That's a challenge, that Scrabble. Don't put yourself down. That's not easy.
she kicks my. She's a scientist. She's all
Well,
about
okay.
strategy.
You
Yeah.
do what you can do. Okay.
So,
But that, Amelia, that's kind of, the way it should be. That's kind of optimum because artists are one side of the brain and the management and the business, that's another side. I mean,
I
and
agree.
and oftentimes, much of the time, they're mutually exclusive. I mean, because in history, like the Beatles had Apple Records, and Fleetwood Mac tried to manage themselves, and it didn't always come out that way. So having management and a team, I think, would behoove any artist.
Yeah, I'm really lucky because I've had, this guy who's really, really believed in me and been loyal to me and helped me so much for, I think it's going on about 7 years or maybe 6 years that we've been working together. And he's
Okay,
just
yeah,
really
like a good
helped me
marriage,
so
it
much.
works. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm
So,
lucky.
so with again the new album is so exemplary, and I've loved everything you've done. I mean that, and no, I'm
Aw.
serious. I'm a big fan. But when you were thinking about this project and the song, sort of in conceiving it, eh, I mean, was the process any different than it had been in the past?
It was. I gave Kim about 40 songs to choose from, and I let
40.
her pick the song. Yeah, I let her pick the
Wow.
songs. Um, and she, I just from the start, she kind of like let me know, like, look, you asked me to produce, so let me produce. And
Wow.
I said, oh yeah, she's a very strong person, and I,
Forthright, very forthright, it sounds
yep,
like.
I
Yeah.
really admire her. And I'm so glad I was able to just let her do her thing because I think I learned so much. So anyway, she picked the songs, and then of course we had to agree, and I did
Yeah.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
But then we sat down with the songs, and she helped me arrange them, and she's a great arranger. Like I learned, I learned a couple things. One is that sometimes I put too many like I'll kind of add on a hook to a song where she's like, you already have this strong, beautiful hook. And now you're
Okay.
adding this extra tag thing that really just kind of diminishes. Let me do that in the production. And that was a really cool thing to like understand. Kind of a Guy Clark-ish thing, like cut out the fat and do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, she's exceptional in her own right, too. Had
She
you known
is.
her? Had the two of you known each other for a while
Um,
before this
I,
kicked off?
I really had just been sort of a fan of hers, and
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to her before, but I definitely didn't like know her, and in a way, for that reason, it was all the more like I felt like she really wanted to do it for the art part of it. It wasn't like a friend thing.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, you've worked with other notable people in the past as well, right? I mean,
Yes, I have.
yeah. So, I think you kind of explained it before, but going forward, you have a producer, and the role of the producer can vary. I mean, sometimes, you read an interview, some artists say, well, he sat back the whole time and read a comic book and didn't really do anything. But it sounds like Kim was very hands-on, and you used her for what we traditionally think a producer should do, and that is to produce and give input and that sort of thing. So it was happy that that she came through in that role and that you allowed her that role, you know?
Yeah, it was a great experience, I would say.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Wasn't always
what?
comfortable, it wasn't always
Oh,
comfortable in the moment, but it
the artistic things can come up, right? I mean, everybody has opinions, right?
well, I think sometimes I think sometimes the best art is made when you're forced to move a little out of your comfort zone, and I
Mm-hmm.
think that happened a bit, and yeah, so it's great.
Yeah. So now, are you going to be going out on tour and doing that routine as well?
Yep, I'm touring as much as I can. I am seeking a great new agent. I have this weird thing that happens to me so far in my career where I get a great American US agent and then
Right.
they retire.
Is it
I don't
something
know
you
what it
said,
is.
Amelia White? I mean, come on. Yeah.
I know. I'm
Maybe
starting to
maybe
take
you
it
need
personal.
to balance age requirement here too. We don't want to get into any ageism, but you might see that coming though. It looks like he's pretty close to the end of the line. Um, it seems like
Uh,
artists are always in search of agents. I mean, I'm not being facetious. It just
yeah.
seems that way because I guess that's kind of the lifeblood to get you out there. And the agent, I think, would be one of the most important people in your group. In your world. An agent, a good agent. Right?
Yeah, it's hard work and I get why people, why there's not many good ones because it's really tough work,
Yeah.
especially post pandemic.
Right. Right. Well, where are you eyeing as far as your upcoming live performances? Where do you have something in
Um,
mind?
well, I'm heading, let's see, I'm actually doing a bunch of shows in town this month. I'm playing at the Bluebird. I'm
Oh,
playing
great.
at the Five Spot for
Ah,
my album release on March 12th.
excellent. That's
You know,
coming
I
up.
would, yeah, that's going to be a big shindig with Amy LeVere and Will Sexton
Oh,
as
wow.
as my guests and
Good
Willa
marquee
Frank.
value here. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I'm going to Chicago and Wisconsin for a
Mm-hmm.
couple shows, and
Yep.
then I'm
Yep.
going to Iowa for some
Oh,
shows,
you're
and
all over the place.
and then I'm going, up the East Coast as I often do in May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so those are my, upcoming plans through about May, and then I'm kind of, taking offers right now for further down the road. So there you
So
have it.
you're going to be out for like 3 months or so initially here. Is that it?
Yeah, it's not like the whole month, but
Okay.
yeah, I've got quite a few shows, and people can just check out my website. They're all listed, and
Good.
yeah.
So do you go out solo? Do you have a band? I mean, is it a mix? How does uh
I mostly do tour solo just to
mm-hmm.
make a living. And I believe, I really believe in my songs, and I think when I play in town, I have an incredible band, and there's just no way I could afford to bring them out.
Yeah, that's the economics of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there's something beautiful about singing solo and telling those stories, and yeah, so I kind of embrace that, and sometimes I'll do duo.
Well, it's interesting because it's obviously a very different dynamic. You're up there solo, it's just you in the spotlight, but when you have a band behind, it deflects some of the attention in a very, in a good way. You don't have to
Yes.
be wholly responsible for holding everything together, but you're used to that. That's what you do. I mean, so you're quite skilled in that regard. A lot of people might not be, you know.
Ah, well, you're too kind.
No, it's
I've been
true.
doing this a few years, and you kind of get used to the pressure of that and just kind of embrace it. It's like really about connecting to people, and
Mm-hmm.
and just I think music's so important. I think art is really important, and it's underpaid, but I just believe like people need it. So I just try to go at it from that perspective. It's not so much about me as look, I have these songs that kind of came through me, and I
Mm-hmm.
think, I don't know, people might get something from them if they so open their ears.
Well, that begs the question: where do you find your muse? I mean, it's a fancy word, Billy. Where do you find your muse? I find my muse in my morning breakfast. No, but seriously, sorry about that. Where do you get your inspiration from? I mean, and how does it come to you? I mean, do you sit down and say, "Okay, I'm going to write a song this morning"? How does that whole process work with you?
I never say that. I never say I need to write a song. It really, that part of it is the part that's just so flowing and pure for me. I guess I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I was driving with, on this last tour I was on in Florida, and I saw this billboard for like this lawyer woman, and she called herself Mama Justice, and I
Oh
thought,
dear.
I wrote that down.
Warning,
I thought,
warning.
but I thought, man, what a great song. So I just wrote that song the other night, and it's kind of like a kick-ass feminist kind of like get in your, like there's a lot, look, there's so much inspiration. I mean, between just being alive in this crazy world and just nature, and then relationships and friends. I mean,
Yeah, well, the last few are very positive, but sometimes it can be negative and dark. But I like when you said love and friendship and relationships, yeah. We need more of that, I think, positive thoughts to get us through,
Well, I definitely tend to be a very dark writer, as you might have noticed, and
that may be so, Amelia White, but I think of you in a very lighthearted way.
Oh man, well, I think I get it all out in songs, and then just kind of laugh at the rest of the world,
Yeah, understood. So, I mean, obviously, you're very prolific because you gave your producer 40 songs. 40. How long did it take for her to go through the 40 songs? It seems like it would
take a while.
I would think like a week, 2 weeks. Did she get back to you, a year from then? I mean, that's a lot of music to digest, right?
It took a while. Yeah. And
yeah.
I think it's a little daunting. I mean, it's daunting for me to know which songs.
Of course. Well,
I mean,
you got to have somebody objective, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, normally, do you give a producer 40 songs before you start an album? I mean, is this something new to have so much?
No, it's kind of been like that. I'd say, definitely at least, I mean, right now I've got about 50 sitting around.
50 in addition to the 40? Seriously, in addition to the 40?
Well, once they don't get picked, I usually just sort of, I don't know. It's not that I give up on them, but I can't keep track of them all. Let's just say that. So.
I have a reason for asking because, as I think I'm a music obsessive, and I collect and, I'm all about collecting and albums. So there is a question in there. It begs the question, the 40 songs before, you've got 50 now. Will we ever see an Amelia White anthology, which would be wonderful? No, I'm serious. You have some demos, you have some live material, you have some songs that didn't make the album. I'm just thinking from a nerdy collector perspective, but I think there's some validity to it, maybe.
Oh man, that would be great. Hell yeah.
You've had a few records out now, so I think you can look back a little bit if you chose to do so, right? I mean, you have something, solid to look back on.
Well, it's kind of interesting, like what songs get like. It's funny because it's not always the songs on the album that maybe are the strongest that end up getting played over and over by me. Sometimes it's like, it's the ones that are better solo, or I don't know how to explain it, but but I do think overall, I think that I tend to play like, I call it like the greatest hits of a certain album. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Uh-huh.
so it would be really cool to put together an album with all of my favorite
Yes.
songs, the ones of albums that I've made. That would be really cool.
Have I
I,
given you an idea? Have I sparked something here, Amelia?
you have,
We have
now.
we have a lot of listeners, Amelia White, so we're going to hold you to this because I want to write the liner notes. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Oh
Okay,
man, I would
so
love that.
further
And now we
further
just need the
discussion.
money to make the
Oh,
damn thing.
oh,
It's always the
oh,
money, right?
oh. I know. That's sort of a God, I hate even having to think about that. So maybe a rich benefactor is listening right now. And who knows? You
Yeah.
never know, Amelia
It
White. You never
Oh,
know.
well, it happens. Somehow all these records have gotten made, and I
Yeah.
never had more than enough to barely pay my bills. So, it does happen. It's crazy.
Well, yes, and let's hope it does. But in the meantime, you have such a wonderful legacy. I mean, and
Ah,
I don't want to say, oh, the brand is great because that's very commercialized. But I just want to say, instead, that when you see the name Amelia White, or you hear about a new album, or you see there is a new album, it's already an established mark of quality. You know it's going to be good. You know it's going to be worth your time and your attention. That's how I feel. I really do. You know.
well, you're a keeper, man.
Thank you. Thank you. I told we were just interviewing Cruz Contreras, and I told him sort of my rock star dream here. Not me being a rock star, but I have so many musician friends. Have you been to Europe, Amelia? Have you toured in Europe at all?
I've mostly toured in UK, but I've done a
That's
little
enough.
bit of
That's
Norway,
enough.
Germany.
You
Yeah.
you, you had me on UK because here's what I suggest to my musician friends, very humbly. But next time you're going on a fantastic trip, you're going to the UK. I love the UK.
Yes.
We talk because I kind of have this notion I could be your road manager. But having said that, I don't do any heavy lifting and I don't like to drive. But I will keep you entertained and you'll keep me entertained. So I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there.
How are you at sleeping on a couch?
I can sleep anywhere. I have no problem sleeping. I'm saying that very sincerely. I don't know. Will you require that I wear pajamas? I mean, that might be the only issue.
Oh no! Hey, I've seen a few man parts in my day. It
Okay.
doesn't scare me.
I didn't think you'd mind. Oh, Billy, that was
That's the only button
unnecessary.
I've pushed tonight.
Right, the only button
today
you
was that
push
one,
makes me sound like a weirdo. But you have a great sense of humor, Amelia. And I knew when we first met, and we've known each other a little while now.
Yes, we have.
And we always have a good time. I think we get each other, and I think we recognize that it's okay to be funny and be stupid. Well, for myself being stupid, I'm not implying you're being stupid, but
No, I'm totally stupid, and I love that about you. Honestly, I think I ran into you the Americana
yes,
conference where I just lost $8,000 in a scam. Do
yeah,
you remember that?
yes.
And you lifted my spirits. Like,
Oh God, that's
I
so
mean,
sweet of you.
I was like, oh, thank God, there's Lee. I knew I would sit down with
Oh,
you. And it
that's
would be
that's one
cool.
of the nicest things anybody's ever said to me. I'm serious. That's
I'm
lovely.
serious too.
That's lovely.
You know.
Well, it's wonderful to know a person like yourself who's not only got talent, obvious talent, can write songs for God's sakes, put out these wonderful albums, and also has humanity, shall I say? A real person and caring and personable and all that good stuff. So, again, I know I don't want to be embarrassed. You're at home now. I'm not. You're not across the table. I can't see you blush or anything like that. I don't. But it's true. I just like saying what's true about people, and in my opinion.
Well, feel the same
Billy's
way about
weeping
you.
over here. Billy, we got to get Billy a hanky. He's
cut it out.
weeping. He's weeping. Oh my gosh. But yeah, all right. We'll move on from that. So I'm getting back to the song thing because I'm really taken with the fact that you are so damn prolific. And so, are you already planning your next album here? You've written. Do you write for the purpose of your next album, or do you just write and when the album comes, oh, it's time, then you go back to the stash?
Yeah, it's more like that. And I think the ways that like my songs and my style kind of evolves is just through the writing. Like it depends on who I'm listening to and what just kind of things are happening. And, I really soak up things. I was just at Folk Alliance and
Oh yeah. How was that? Yeah.
and that it's a hard thing because it's basically like 24 hours a day for like
I
4
know.
days.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I know. I've been there, done
But
that.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love just like hearing there's just so much talent and it's just beautiful to just hear. I just like hearing people in those small rooms, just unplugged and
in the bedrooms,
you
in the guest rooms of a hotel.
It's really pretty cool,
I mean, for people that have never been there, basically, Folk Alliance takes over. How many floors now? 3 floors.
Yeah.
And every guest room is a venue, and people just hop from venue to venue. And some of them, you just lie on the bed. I find that, pillows, I love that. Some of them have nice snacks, beverages.
Yeah.
Where you performed, did they have snacks and beverages, Amelia?
Oh yeah, well, especially Andy Rubin, who's my manager. He always has a room, and he always has like the finest whiskey and like
Good for him.
And yeah, I mean he's we lube him up a little in our.
You what? Lube him up? What? Huh?
We lube him up.
Let's be careful here. Now, this is a PG show, a PG podcast.
Oh my God.
But no, I mean, it really varies. Some of them nothing. Some of them, yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Dan Navarro has the. Do you go to the Navarro Cantina? Or what's it called?
Yes, I was supposed to play in that last year, and my one of my family members got really sick, and I wasn't able to go. And I was bummed because I love Dan's room. It's a great room.
It's a great room. Yeah, it's a great room. So you have a new album that is on the precipice of release, or it came out last week, but it's still like a newborn. It's a newborn baby.
Yes.
You're up every night putting the diaper on it, and it's I'm going too far with that, but still, you have a new project, and it's something that you're having to maintain and promote and all that kind of stuff. So is this an exciting time in that regard? I mean, artistically, I'm sure it's exciting, but when you look at what accompanies the release of a new album, does that get your blood flowing, so to speak?
It's a lot of showing up, and the social media thing is. I don't think anybody loves it, but I guess I just have really embraced it. Just get on there and be myself, like and just you get some good photos. And I used to post like a lot of photos from everywhere I went, and I realized at some point people, they kind of want to see like people. They want to see me. They want to see who I'm with, and
right.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing to me as an artist, because I also paint but you kind of just give the people what they want, and it's all good.
And you succeed in doing that, so you have no reason for concern. And the fact, look, your new album, we're going to put in a plug here, brace yourself. The new album by Amelia White, Love I Swore. I think the title tells it all, Amelia. I'm sure there's stories behind the title that you chose here, but it's very positive and loving. It's super. It's super, and it's a wonderful album too. It's a wonderful record. So,
Well, thank you. Thank you, Lee. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you.
well, I appreciate you, Amelia. I really, it's very special for you, for me to have you as my friend. That's what I'm trying to say. I got mumble mouth there. So anyway, well, thank you for being on the show. I hope we see you in East Tennessee very soon. I think we need to talk a little bit about some plan for that. But, yeah. But
how can folks find you, Amelia?
Yes, how can folks find you? That's very important. Thank you, Billy.
Good job there, Billy.
Good job. Key question.
Well, the mother site is just my website, ameliawhite.com, and that has all my. From there, you can find all my, social media sites. I mean, I'm on them all, and
cool.
I'm sure you can find them just by, going to Facebook or Instagram and typing in Amelia White, and I'll pop up. So I'm around, man. I'm around.
Okay, good. Well, we're going to be looking for you and looking forward to seeing you soon. And best of luck with the new album. And keep doing what you do, Amelia White, because it's
Thank you. I will.
It's
a disorder I can't shake.
It's great. It's great. So all the best.
All right, we'll take us out of here. And
thank you, Billy.
Big thanks to Amelia White and our host, Lee Zimmerman. Be sure and check out Lee's new book, 30 Years Behind the Glass, Jim Gaines, now available on Amazon. Also, please like, share, and subscribe to My Backstage on your favorite platform. And we'll see y'all next time.
Bye-bye.
Happy trails.
Happy trails to you.